All right. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode number 4 of the SMB Talks. Today, I'm super duper excited because the guest I have today, it's a one of a kind of a human being you can ever meet. I met him some years ago at a Health 2.0 conference. So during the daytime, he was moderating uh, some panel on healthcare innovation and stuff. It was mind blowing. And in the evening, he transformed into a stand-up comedian. So he is a person who wears multiple hats. Literally, we all talk about wearing multiple hats, but this guest of mine, literally wears multiple hats. So it's a huge list. So let me tell you, he's an ENT surgeon, a good one, and he's also a healthcare innovator. I mean, he has got 18 products, healthcare products that he has developed, and he has licensed it out to companies. So he's an entrepreneur by nature. He's an author. He has got 4 best-selling books. He has given TED talks multiple times, and he's also a famous celebrity stand-up comedian. So without further ado, let me welcome Dr. Jagdish Chaturvedi onto the SMB Talk.
Hi Vivek, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm so happy to see you actually.
Thanks for the kind introduction. I hope you're able to hear me well. It's raining in Bangalore. Are you in Bangalore as well?
No, I moved to Gurgaon last year, so it's
Oh, okay.
luckily raining here today also.
Okay. Great. No, good to be here. Thanks for having me, and I look forward to the rest of the session.
Right. I was just saying that about you. I met you at a Health 2.0 conference. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure you will not remember me. But from that day, I follow your work. I keep following your videos and stand up. Healthcare, I don't understand too much, but I like stand up stuff. So it's a
Thanks.
huge thing. I love it. So why I asked you to come on the show is because it's a tough time for a lot of entrepreneurs, and we are going through a pandemic situation and things like that. Everybody is struggling. That's the reason why I started this show itself, where I want to bring on people who are really inspiring for the young folks, the working professionals, entrepreneurs, everybody, so that they can learn something out of these talks and get inspired. So without further ado, I have some questions which I have curated for you.
Absolutely.
So number one thing, literally, you're a person who wears multiple hats. So tell me a little bit about those hats you wear.
Okay. Yeah. So, firstly, I don't think I wear multiple hats, but it appears like that, and I think the perception is. I'll tell you why. See, I mean, in a day, an average person works, let's say, 6 to 8 hours. But what do they do the rest of the day? I'm sure you go to the gym in the morning or sometime in the evening, or you drive to work and sometimes carpool and pick people, or maybe even cook something at home. But that doesn't make you a gym trainer or a chef or a Uber driver, right? Or a cab driver. But what happens is when you keep
Absolutely.
doing that to a level that it starts becoming revenue generating, then it appears like they are new hats, but they're basically just activities that I've been doing since a child. Throughout my childhood, I've always been doing some theater, some acting, or some sort of comedy plays. And the only difference is I didn't stop at 12th standard like all of us do. I continued it because I felt the need to keep having some sort of a theatrical, background and continue doing that. The other hats that you talk about, being an entrepreneur and an author, I feel are just under the same umbrella of being a doctor, because so when I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to treat patients and make them free from diseases. And at one point of time, I really questioned myself, that is the only way to treat them by just seeing them face to face or doing surgeries. What if I'm facing a problem and larger doctors are also facing the same problem, and many people can be benefited from maybe an invention of a device or a process, or maybe writing about inventions in a book so that more doctors can do it. I think they're not continuous activities. They are sporadic activities that are done, but under the bigger umbrella of treating patients. So keeping a flexible schedule is key. I'm not an employee at any organization or hospital, which usually, because of the bureaucracy, stops you from doing these things. But I'm a privately practicing doctor I have a chamber in Fortis, and I earn how much ever I work there. And patients are the priority. Rest of the time, I have all the field to play around. I can do comedy, I can do other things, I can try different things. So I do try a lot of things. And someday that might become a hat if I do it too regularly.
Right, right. Because I recently loved the coronavirus skits you're doing. You know, the four Dr. Chaturvedis talking in various ways, the
Thank
conversation between AIDS and Corona. I simply loved it. I was showing it to my wife.
you.
She went crazy. She's like, "Is he a doctor?" I said, "Yeah." Then I showed you your website, and she was like stunned. Okay, so it's
Wonderful.
pretty
That's great.
pretty good to hear that. You know, it's all about pursuing your passion to
Yeah.
a sustainable period of time. I believe
Right.
that's the
Right.
message I'm getting. Right.
Right.
So let me go back to another question here. For example, you started off as surgeon, as an ENT surgeon, but how did you transformed into an entrepreneur? What was the driving force?
Yeah, so I again don't think I transformed. I still operate, but
Okay.
a surgeon mentality is very similar to an entrepreneurial mentality. So what, like for example, whenever we operate, we just have a broad idea. This is the disease. We see a scan, but we are always up for surprises when we go inside the body, right? There's a surprising bleeder, or the extent of the disease is more than what we saw because of technology. But we can't just stop the surgery and tell the patient, hey, we didn't understand properly. You got to fix it. So we have to quickly come up with solutions, quickly come up with fixes, save the patient's life, remove the disease, improve the condition, and then follow up with our treatment and ensure it. So that kind of a problem fixing mindset is always there, in generally in the surgical domain, and because we do so many surgeries, that's kind of tuned. Okay, we're used to seeing problems, we analyze and we solve it. Now, suppose if we see problems outside our patient domain, like I was trying to do early diagnosis of throat cancer patients, but I was not able to do it in rural areas because we don't have access to tools that we are spoiled with or used in big quality hospitals, good quality hospitals. And we are using very rudimentary tools and we are missing them out. And I feel, what's the point doing that when we're missing out early cancer? That's the best time when you can save them. So then creating a new tool to fix it is similar to the surgeon bar entrepreneurial mentality. It's just the question of, instead of just cribbing about it and being frustrated, I think I am a very restless and impatient person, so I want to see it done. So that I think is just a push, that like, figure it out and let's just do it. And that excites me also, and I like things to be quick. I'm not a kind of person who will be following or doing something for 10 or 15 years. But if something I know I can make a quick difference in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, then I feel like, yeah, now there's an impact and I get very driven for that period of time. And I think that's how the inventions happened. And the
Right.
transition started during my college days, during my ENT post graduation, when I faced this particular diagnostic problem. And now we have a web series called Starting Troubles that shows that entire journey. So if anybody wants to have a visual of that entire transition, you can watch that as well.
Right. Starting troubles, right? Where is it available?
So we released it on our own app because the idea is that it talks about maintaining your passion, but also about how doctors can become innovators. And my
Right.
new startup helps doctors become innovators. So we felt strategically it's good to have some awareness product inside a product where they can use. And that is really working. Our strategy is working because doctors who are watching the web series are immediately using the app to become innovators.
Right.
And
Right.
that is what we wanted to do, because we believe you can solve something if you have the problem and the solution right there. So
Right.
we yeah so my app is called Hi H, triple IH.in, or that's a website, but the app is called Hi. There's a funny story to it which I'll tell you later on. But you
Okay.
can download the app and you can watch the web series. There's 6 episodes, and we have taken Bollywood actors. We have not compromised on quality, even though it was extremely shoestring budget and again a lot of jugaad. But that's a different story. But we have Renuka Shane, Parikshit Shani from Munna Bhai MBBS. We have Kurush Debu who played that Rustam Pawari, the student. So we have a good set of the production team is a Bollywood team. They made the movies three. They were a part of the
Oh.
production team that made the movies three. So
Right.
it's a nice unique web series, and
Uh,
its structure is interesting because it is half stand-up comedy and half fiction. So the first time we have mixed scenes with stand-up comedy, And so far the response has been good. So
Right,
uh,
right. Fantastic. I'll make sure that I'll check it out. I have seen it, but I've not downloaded the app and read about it actually. All right.
right.
So what I'm hearing is, like, for example, when you face a problem, to solve that problem, that mentality is what drives the entrepreneur in you or any doctor or anybody for that matter, right?
Yeah.
All these innovations which we see in today's world is also driven basically by those kind of attitude, right?
Right.
All right. So one follow-up question here is, if I'm reading it correctly, you have 18 innovative products which has come out of your brain, right? If
Yeah.
it is right.
Yeah, 18 come out of my brain. There's a story to why I use that 18 number. Actually,
Okay.
I have a boss, Dr. Ravi Nair, who's the mentor who kind of molded me from just a conventional doctor to an innovator. And when
Right.
I got into inventions, I used to go to talks and I used to say, I have 3 successful products reach the market. I have 5 successful products. And he brought me to the side. He's like, Jagdish, I think you're misleading the people there. I'm like, I'm not misleading, sir. I'm just telling what was successful. He's like, exactly. That is misleading. If you just tell what is successful, people will assume that everything you touch is gold. That this guy, whatever he invents, is a, how many did you try to invent, and how many of them were successful? Then you give the true picture. So that's why I say I have been involved in 18 medical device inventions, but I have successfully commercialized only 9 of them, and 50% have failed. So that when anybody hears that, it's not a matter of saying that okay, he worked on 18, it's a flattery. It's about showing that he has failed 50% of the time, because that is a message that needs to go, because some people just talk about their successes so much that it may give the wrong message that everything you do is going to be successful, and there is a fair share of failures that one should be ready with.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because that's an honest way to look at it, right? Because as you said, everybody, if you talk to any entrepreneur, the success part shines too much, and we
Yeah.
we think that okay, this guy is a runaway hit. He has whatever he has touched has turned to golden. That's the right
Right.
way to think. So this innovation, let me you told me that your problem solving attitude has really helped, but still going on from one innovation to next, maybe having failures in between, what is there anything which, apart from your problem solving attitude, anything else which drives this kind of passion for innovation?
Yeah, so I think I credit that to my innate ability to make a lot of mistakes. Like even since a child, I have been a very errorful child. I've been literally called a problem child by various people who have validated it. And the reason why it's a problem child is also because of my impulsive nature, and also because of my questioning nature. I don't take anybody's. If everybody's following one path, I really question it. Was that the only way? Are we blindly following it? Should I try other things? And that used to get me into a lot of trouble. And when you get into trouble and when you make a lot of mistakes, you don't have an option to let it go. You have to fix it. And that, after doing a lot of mistakes and fixing it, gets you into the thought process that you face a problem, you fix it. Otherwise, I would have become a cribber, like most people do. Is they're not used to getting into too many troubles, so they're not used to solving. They're used to complaining.
Right.
Why that's not done? Yeah, why that is not done? Why? Oh, they should have done it like this. So the great ideas. They're great ideas. Everybody has the ability to think of an idea to solve it. But if you don't have that machinery, your body is not practiced to solving it, because action is removing from inertia, right? Ki, acha,
Right.
now I've got this idea. Now I need to make it happen and fix the problem. And when you make mistakes, sometimes your life depends upon it. Sometimes your family depends upon it. Your relationships depend upon it. Fixing is not an option. You have to do it. Usko fix karna hai and get back to track. And when you do too many of those, then you get into the mode of you see problem and I want to solve it, and also you want to solve it effectively. So what I do is, my first invention I struggled, but when I went to Stanford University and learned the biodesign process, I realized that the success is not only about a good idea or how good of an innovator you are. It is how well you can equip a team. And if you have a team that can work with you, then it is possible to do what I'm doing, where you can work on multiple products and continue clinical practice. If I
Right.
alone was doing every step of the innovation, very honestly tell you that I would have probably worked on one, maximum two, and run away somewhere,
Right.
because I would have burnt out. Obviously, it's multi-domain expertise to innovate. Innovation is not a single domain expertise, and that's the most confusing part of it, because nobody knows whose job it is to innovate. But innovation itself has to be a mix of, in healthcare, doctors, engineers, designers, business people, regulatory, legal, all of them have to come together. A doctor cannot get all the knowledge of them, and others cannot get all the clinical knowledge. It has to be cross disciplinary. And once you
Right.
find a team and work, then it's easy. Then you work 4 hours, 6 hours on a product, continue the rest of the thing, and then it works. That's the way.
Right. 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 So it's basically your idea. You saw a problem. You want to solve it, but there's a good amount of people behind you who will support you in that journey. So, all right. So my next question is about that. About your firm. How do I call it? High double
Yeah,
IH.
high triple IH, H triple IH.
H triple IH Innovation. So, take us through a little bit of what it's all about. Where is the journey right now?
Yeah, so after 12 years of inventing medical devices, we are seeing that the medtech in India is on an upscale, and a lot of
Right.
doctors are now trying to be innovators. When I started off, doctors used to challenge the thought of innovating. Now I
Right.
see senior doctors and junior doctors all very, openly looking at pursuing it. But
Right.
what I see is there is no support system for doctors, because doctors is a very unique profession. You cannot take a sabbatical out of the blue, because a surgeon takes a sabbatical, you lose touch, right? You
Right.
cannot lose your clinical practice, but they want to invent, they understand the problem, they know the idea. I saw a gap which I could solve because I am a doctor, and now with 12 years of experience and so many failed devices and successful devices, the network is well oiled for me. I know regulatory people, manufacturing people, design. I know a network who personally worked with, and
Right.
especially nascent ecosystem, which is not so mature that you can just buy things. You need to have a working experience to know predictability, whether quality will be there and all those things will be there. So I thought, why not take a step back away from product development and do some ecosystem, what do you say, catalyzing, by making a platform that supports doctors and doctor led startups, by providing a menu of services that they can take based on what they cannot find a team for, or if they cannot find a team, we'll find it for them. If they cannot find a prototyping house, we'll prototype it for them. If they don't find a legal team, we'll file their patents, we'll do the clinical studies, we'll do marketing, sales, distribution, whatever it is that they feel that they need, which they cannot get. This is an online shop. The team finding is like a Tinder plus LinkedIn. You can find, it's a speed dating platform. Your doctor can find an engineer in his locality, if such a person who is interested in innovations is listed on High. And most importantly, what High does, which most other social networks don't do, is it lays out the expectation in the profile. So suppose if I am a doctor and I'm looking for a co-founder product designer in Bangalore, then I will, when I search product designer, I will get 10 profiles, but each one will tell what is it that they are looking at in terms of engagement. Are they looking for salary? Are they looking for a contract post? Or are they looking to be a co-founder and co-invest? So then before I even contact the person, I
Right.
know this person is in line with what I want, because this is a thing that nobody discusses until you start working on a product. And later on, this leads to disintegration. Team breaks apart. I thought you wanted to be co-founder. No, I was
Right.
exploring. मेरे को MBA मिल गया, मैं जा रहा हूँ. अब I have to go abroad, and so it happens a lot, right? So that is the
Right.
whole
Yeah.
idea of High. High is a team finding app and also an expert services providing app. And it's also a training and innovations app. So the web series is there. It gives awareness about the innovation process. I run courses. I run a 20 session online one-to-one course on biodesign, teaching anybody who wants to learn how to invent. 20 sessions, 12 from me and 8 from experts in the industry. We teach you with over, there's no limitation on how far the gap should be. You can take it anytime in your lifetime, those 20 sessions. And we do that so that we keep increasing the knowledge base. The name High is what we wanted to call it very, I would say immaturely. We said we want to call it High because it's healthcare innovation. High. So that is what we did, and we announced it. I'm impulsive. Announce High bana rahe. But when we went to register it, they said first find the website domain. High.com मिलेगा क्या आपको? कितने ambitious हो? High.com नहीं मिला, High.in नहीं मिला, High.org जो कुछ भी alphabet से नहीं मिला. हमने बोला यार ये तो problem हो गई. Then H double I किया, H triple I किया, H single I H किया, all permutation combinations. Afterward we got a domain H triple I H.in, so that it's called High. But I work with the government, so I know how to make abbreviations. So we call it Healthcare Innovation in Indian Healthcare, और उसको हमने launch कर दिया. But बुलाना High है. लेकिन नहीं।
कितना भी हाई डाले लेकिन बोलना हाई है.
हाँ, वो
That's
10 आई भी लग जाते हैं, वो ही आई जो कुछ भी होता, उसको हाई बुलाना है, हमने अनाउंस कर दिया था. तो
but anyway, it's a very good ecosystem you have built, I guess. You know, if anybody wants to bring out an innovation which can help a lot of people in rural or urban setup, they can come to you and get the thing almost done, kind of, right?
yeah,
That's fantastic.
whichever part. See, what happens is nowadays there are only incubators. Incubators have that kind of rule that you are either fully married to us or you are divorced. You cannot flirt. We are a flirting platform. If you're just looking for one exact service but other things you can take care of, there is no solution like that today. A doctor will
Right,
say, I am fine with everything. I can do the clinical trials. I can also get it distributed because I have a manufacturing partner, but I can't do the prototyping. That is my gap. नाउ अगर इफ
right,
आई वांट टू गो टू एन इंक्यूबेटर, वो हर चीज में उंगली डालेंगे और फिर हर चीज को वो बिगाड़ देंगे. मेरे को बस प्रोटोटाइपिंग करके दो बस. सो दैट
right,
इज kind of service if they just want. And engineers come and say, just get us a doctor access. I go to their hospital, they kick us out. So we
right,
then keep them for 3 months with a doctor. We do focus group discussion. So we are the bridging matchmaker for very selective services, but we have a menu card from ideation to commercialization. जो
right.
आपको चाहिए आप खरीद सकते हो. हर चीज का कॉस्ट बहुत अफोर्डेबल है because we work on a consulting model and we work with people who have experience. So we figure out a startup friendly, individual friendly cost model so that we can do the task for them. So that's what
Right.
High does.
Right. So high is basically about cost effectiveness comes because you care about innovation. Otherwise, if you are behind money, obviously the charges will be so exorbitant, people will run away. That's
I
fantastic,
can
actually.
do.
It's
Yeah.
exactly. So my next question will be: you have so much of time invested into bringing out innovative ideas and things like that, but most of I think all of your products have been licensed to various medtech companies. Any
Yeah.
particular reason behind that?
So my profile is that I learned this the hard way, but I realized that only my involvement in my expertise makes sense. Anytime if I go beyond that, like if I try to market and sell, or if I try to do product development, I am not an expert in that, but I have expertise in clinical knowledge, clinical access, understanding the clinical problem, clinical trials, clinical study. जहाँ clinical word आता है, वहां पर I can do a justifiable job. So what I used to do is I used to get the product to a certain level, and when I have a team of engineer or designer, we in the early days we used to take baby steps because we did not have the ability or the knowledge to do end-to-end ideation to manufacturing. So what we used to do is we used to get it to a clinical trial stage or a decently made prototype where the technical risk is gone, clinical risk is gone, and then we used to get companies who were like, okay, this is a cheap buy of R&D for us. Instead of us spending 15% on our large company R&D, for not like for a very small minuscule price, we can just buy out this product and take it. So Medtronic bought one of our products, and Medtronic is a very big medtech company. But
Very
for
big
them, it's
company.
like, if they had to do their own R&D from scratch for a screening device, it would have been a very expensive and also a time drawn process. Here they see,
Right.
okay, this is, and it's coming from an ENT expert, and it's a device that they're looking at already. So we started finding buyers for, I would say, moderately to advanced prototype stage, or just clinically approved, clinical trial approved product stage. But then when I came back to Bangalore, I did all this when I was in Delhi and all of those places. But when I came back to Bangalore, I became a co-founder of this company called Inaxcel, which we ran for 5 years before I exited from it, because there we did end-to-end product development. We went from idea with the teams to manufacturing and marketing. But once all the products reached marketing and then it became a sales job and a commercializing job, I felt I was again of no value there. So I exited from there to start High. Hello. Yeah, hi, Vivek. हमारा नाम हमारा नाम Hi guys, can you hear me? I don't know why I'm locked out or whether Vivek got locked out. It just tells me you are in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. So I'm just waiting to see if I can be brought back in some way. I don't know if there are anybody is there. If people are there, can you please write hi or any question if you have? I can take those questions also. Let me just. Hi. Hello, sir. Hi, Abhishek. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, if you have any questions related to medtech healthcare, I'm happy to take those questions. I'm just trying to get in touch with Vivek to see how he can come back.
Hey, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi.
Okay.
I was just messaging you.
So sorry. Something happened. My system just conked off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So you were talking about the process. Why the licensing was happening.
Yeah, so earlier days, because I used to take little baby steps and we did not know the way we used to sell it out. When we came back and started in Excel, we used to do end-to-end development. But the marketing and sales part, again, my role is not very high. My role is good in early adoption and all of that, but scale up and all of that, there is a sales team and all. But I had this idea of high for a few years. I was like, I need to do something to see these how these doctors, and now we are serving at least 25 doctors parallelly for various different needs and all of that. And I feel that's very rewarding because now we are enabling other doctors to invent. And so because
Right.
I had this idea and I didn't want to waste too much time and I was not very useful once the products were commercialized and we were not strategically planning on developing new products in Inaxel, I took an exit and then started High 2 years ago.
Right, right, got it. So that's actually it makes sense when you if you can do it, bring it faster by licensing, why not, right? Because
Yeah.
setting up the entire facility and going through marketing sales, it's kind of a painful job, and I know that kind of competition you have these days in medtech
Yeah.
space is too high, I believe.
But the problem
Right.
is, no,
So
when you license, you lose control, Vivek. So what happened is, like my first device that Medtronic took, I completely lost control on what I originally set out to invent. Now, it may look like a successful product because maybe 600, 700,000 patients have been screened for ear diseases. But the way I had invented it was to screen throat cancer. Now, for strategically for
okay,
Medtronic, ear was the first area they wanted to go, nose and throat was later. For me, the problem that I
right,
faced was not with ear and nose. The problem that I faced was with throat, but I made a device that could do ear, nose, and throat screening. So, but if I had
right,
taken the product all the way to commercialization, I would have positioned it in a market as a multiple endoscopy device. But because I licensed it out early, I have zero control on how it is going out. That's a bit frustrating, but
right,
also, sometimes you just take an exit to get your learnings, and then slowly, I think what is ideal is to take it end to end so that the product is not manipulated or it is solving the need all the way till the end. That is the only
right,
reason there. But once you're doing sales and scale up, you're really not going to change the perception of the device. So after that, I
right.
think it needs to really go with experts, and it's very painful job to do sales. It's like extremely, I mean, if you think being a doctor is a tough job, just try selling something. And selling is
Yeah, it's painful. I can understand. I belong to that background, so it's kind of tough. But at the end of the day, doctor wins because that is the toughest job. I had given MBBS entrance twice. My parents were adamant that, but I can't see blood. I will faint. So that's why I passed that opportunity. Anyways, my next question will be, you have all these innovations. I'm pretty sure I'm understanding you a little bit from a personal side also now. So problem solving attitude, all that is fine. But among all these experiments you have done, this 18 of them or 19 of them, which is the which is the one which is closest to your heart, or maybe the best? You have a special feeling for that.
The closest to my heart is this device called Sinocare, which is a balloon sinoplasty device. And the reason why it's closest is because I used to face the problem, and I used to get frustrated that I cannot do, opening of the sinuses. So we do sinusitis, but to open up the sinuses, we used to remove a lot of tissues, and sometimes that used to cause its own problems. And I used to feel that just to reach the sinuses, we are removing the tissues, not to widen the sinuses, even just to, it's like, if you want to go from one road to the one side of the road to the other, you have to dig and remove all the trees, all the houses, everything, just to reach there. So it's like, why do you need to remove so much, cause so much destruction just to go there? Can't we use a balloon and just reach that place and dilate it? So that, and internationally there were such balloons, but they were very expensive, 1.5 lakhs. And I used to feel like, I'm just creating destruction, because we have to accept that is the way it is, and I'm not usually comfortable with accepting something that is not optimal. So we developed the device, and I use it actively in my practice, and I think that is the most, I would say, rewarding thing, because when you complete the cycle, most of the times, not many innovators may be fortunate to use what they make. Many times they would make
True.
it for something and other people use it. But when I get to use what I make and I see the benefit in the patients, that keeps reminding me of the whole process. And the whole thing got over in 3 years, right? 3 years we was, before I was struggling. 3 years later, it's our own device, now at 19,000 rupees versus 1.5 lakhs. And the patient is coming, we are doing the balloon sinoplasty, is going back 2 hours later. He's not even having to put a pack, not even having to stay for 2 days. We don't remove anything from the nose. It's a zero cutting procedure, but still the sinuses are open. Those kind of, so then that kind of makes me feel the ability of impact by just trying to do something. It's just the actions. I know it's not difficult to do it. It's difficult to start doing something and sticking till the end.
Right, right.
That's
So
what most people.
when you said, yeah, when you said that, I was just placing myself in your shoes and thinking that मेरा बनाया हुआ एक प्रोडक्ट मैं खुद यूज करके मेरा मेरा पेशेंट को अच्छा लग रहा है, तो मतलब the kind of happiness you will get, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's fantastic.
And
Right.
most of the
So
time they don't know that I've invented it. Sometimes I go to a conference, and in the stall somebody's like, sir, ये नया balloon आया है, ये साइनोसाइड के है, ये ऐसा इसका balloon है. मैं पूरा सुनता हूँ, because वो सेल्स गाय, उसको पता नहीं कि कौन है. But then that also feels good, yeah. Like अपना प्रोडक्ट से किसी को नौकरी मिल रहा है, किसी को ये मिल रहा है, किसी को वो मिल रहा है, and there's a whole system that is running from
right,
it. So those things are quite rewarding.
I can understand that. So my next question will be a thoda advice, gyan wala question. Okay. So there are a lot of youngsters, especially in Bangalore, where since I left Bangalore, I missed this part. Lot of startup youngsters, who want to startup. HSR layout is filled with that. So if a young guy or anybody wants to go an innovative route, what is the one advice you will give them? What can keep them motivated along the path?
The one advice I would give them, if I there are many, but one if I would choose, is create a team before your idea. It's non-intuitive, but normally idea comes first, and then like, oh, this is good, and now let me create a team around it. And that is where the team dynamics changes from the first step. And for something like medtech, maybe for apps and softwares, it's a short journey, so it might not make much of a difference. But if you're developing a product in healthcare, having a team of at least 2 or 3 experts from different domains, doctor, engineer, designer, or at least some team which is okay, which has agreed that okay, we want to do something in healthcare, okay, pediatrics, okay, gynecology, okay, something. They've shortlisted a domain, but not exactly what you're going to solve. You may have an idea, don't share it. Take them to the clinical setting, look at all the problems, share this idea and see what else comes. But the moment a unbiased team together validates that idea, and then they feel it is also their idea, that is what drives the product, because one single person's passion converts into begging very soon, but multiple people's passion becomes teamwork. Because
Exactly.
if I'm the only one who's passionate about my idea, in my mind it is my idea, and whatever team I create after that, it is Jagdish's idea पे काम कर रहे हैं. जगदीश ने ये
Right.
सोचा, हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं. अब जगदीश
Right.
पैसा नहीं दे रहा है, अभी जगदीश क्या चाहता है, वो चाहता है हम लोग ऐसे फ्री में काम करते रहे जगदीश के लिए, उसके आइडिया को उसको हम फेमस करें, देन ऑल दोस डायनामिक्स स्टार्ट. बट जब हम तीनों का आइडिया है तो ठीक है बॉस, तुम दोनों स्टार्टअप चलाओ, मैं क्लिनिकल वर्क करता हूँ, हम लोग क्लिनिकल एक्सेस रखते, देन द टीम वर्क्स. एंड इवन इफ वन लीव्स, व्हिच इज अ वेरी हाई पॉसिबिलिटी, यू स्टिल हैव टू पीपल. You need people to take. The only reason why my 9 products have failed is only for a single reason: the team broke apart. That's it. We didn't have a team. Because you can take any product, if two people put their work and time together, you can make any product successful. Vivek, have you heard of Yo, the app Yo?
I think I've heard about it. Yeah.
Very fascinating app. It's called Yo. It was made in the Bay Area. You know what it does? You can select your contact, press one big button called Yo, and it sends them a Yo, and they can send you a Yo back. It's valued at $10 million. So every time I am depressed, I think that agar Yo ka $10 million ka investment mil raha hai, because the two people who ran that company invested 1 million to get 1 million early users, and when they showed that we have 1 million users, their investor put in 10 million. You know that you can make any idea to the next level. You just need the team to keep pushing, right? And if you're in healthcare, you just need the people to stay there for 3 to 5 years. You will figure out a way to solve it. But the problem is when the team breaks, it's a child without parents and no education. So it can go anywhere, and that's what it does. And then you don't know, it is directionless, and then it does drugs or robs, and then it's not doing the job that you want it to do. So that's why it's important to create a team first. It's very difficult, but the reason why we also created a team building platform is to answer that question. Because earlier I used to say, "Sir, आप बोलते हो team बनाओ, team बनाओ, team बनाओ, किधर मिलेगा team? किधर?" If I say हमारे साथ आइडिया बनाएगा, वो सोच रहा पागल है क्या? आइडिया क्या है पहले वो बता. You want to work, what shall we work on? Find the team and then find the problem together. So I'm like, chalo, we have created a platform now. There are 7,000 innovators or wannabe innovators in different domains. Now you have a place to start finding a team. Now they have to exist to go up on the platform. मैं बना के तो देगा नहीं, but slowly more and more people may start coming up onto that platform, and you may be able to find team members or hit conferences, hit hackathons, hit those events to find like-minded people, and channelize your dating skills to find a team member for your startup. And that may get you somewhere. So create team first before idea. That's my message.
Yeah, that's actually a very good message. I've never heard this advice from anybody. People will have like, idea है, MVP तक पहुंचाओ पहले कैसे तो करके. मैं ये सुना हुआ है, but this one is actually, it makes much more sense when I'm thinking about it. Right. So my next question is thoda personal side of yours, right? By the way, I just want to bring something up here. I recently saw an anniversary post of yours. You have mentioned that the institution of marriage is like a startup. Well financially funded. It was mind blowing. It was really funny actually. I showed it to my wife again. She also loved it. Right. So happy anniversary, belated.
10 years.
10 years. Fantastic.
Not a startup anymore.
At least it's funded and it's running well. It's a well-financed.
Loan sinking company. Companies don't make profits for many years, Vivek. So it's a chalo. Somebody has to acquire us. Oh, shit. Anyways, so my next question is, when I look at you, I've seen your TED Talks, etc. You come across as a person with a lot of confidence, right? I don't know where you get it from. You said that from childhood you're a troublemaker. Maybe that's giving you some push. But why you like public speaking, if I'm not wrong, right? So yeah, I like being on stage. Yeah.
Right. So what is the motivation, or what is the thing which gives you that strength? What is the secret behind it?
So it's a bit of a troublemaker mentality. So let me first answer what gives you confidence. Earlier, I used to think that not failing used to give confidence. But then when I realized it is failing a lot and learning how to come out of it that gives you confidence. Because if you are in that situation where you're like, yeah, I got into these kind of 10, 15 dangerous problems and I still could come out and turned it to my benefit, that gives you the confidence. Ab to kuch bhi face kar sakta hu. There is no situation I am not prepared for. So think it is mistakes, failing, learning how to cope up with it, and seeing that it is possible, and you can also turn the situation to your profit and benefit. I wrote a book called Benefits of Failing Successfully that gives 10 examples of how 10 failures of mine converted into benefits that helped me as an entrepreneur. So
Right,
what
right,
that gives confidence, and then when you are confident, you do a lot of ungli, like you want to try to mess with people's mind. I love messing with people's mind, and I like to tell things which is not what they normally believe. And
right,
वो जो
right,
expression है ना, oh, I love seeing that. I'm addicted to that. So when I go on stage and give these talks, and I say things like you're also mentioning that you're hearing things that other people don't usually say. So
right.
I like bringing that and sharing that kind of information, and watching that their whole 20 years of beliefs crash in front of my eyes, and a new belief ka seed coming in front of me. मेरे को बहुत खुशी होती है. So like every minute twist kiya kisi ka, I change it. And my TEDx talks, some of them I experiment so much that I first make them laugh, then make them sad, then make them laugh, then make them sad again. ऐसा मजा आता है, I'm playing with their emotions. Just it's just shamelessness. It is confidence. मजा आता है. So that's why I do it. All
Right,
mess
right.
minds, yeah.
Yeah, why I brought this question up is because when I interact with a lot of youngsters, on LinkedIn, etc., people have a lot of confidence issues, public speaking issues, and they have brilliant mind. Okay, they think loud. They are very good when we talk one to one. But you put them in a public setting, they are like पीछे हो जाते हैं. So
Yeah.
my next question is how an entrepreneur or SMB owner or whoever it is can bring out this public speaking, get rid of this public speaking fear and be more confident. What is the one advice you can give them?
One advice I can give is a marketing sales pitch. I run a public speaking 5-session workshop
Right?
online.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
I take 5 people at a time because I do it one-on-one, and I finish the 5 and then move to the next 5. And
Right.
this is the exact problem. They're able to talk to their friends, they're able to talk one-on-one, but when it comes on stage, it doesn't. I come from theater background. We understand theater like technically and scientifically what an audience psyche is, what is it that they look at, and what a person on stage's psyche is, and what it is. So we have come up with a formula to break that. And so far, in the 10 students that I'm working on, we're already seeing the results, because this is the first time I'm doing a workshop where I work on an actual presentation with them until they present it, rather than it just being a theoretical thing. But to give you an answer, there are 5. No, it would get too long if I would share that. But I think it's just that when people do not find out who their persona is. Everybody has a performance persona, which is they tell stories, they tell jokes, they sing in the bathroom, or they have some sort of talent. Everybody has that, but they never nurture it enough that it can be publicly acceptable, because they are not confident about it. They don't feel that people will like it. They care about what other people would think, or how would they be perceived, and those kind of things. And then that makes you in a very artificial presenter, because then
Right.
you try to follow either reading the slides, or you're talking very technically, and you're trying to rely. It's just like it's a defense mechanism. You don't want to take the risk of being yourself in front of everyone, so you use the crutch as either knowledge or information, or your slide deck, or something else, or a question and answer, whatever. And then
Right.
when that defense mechanism becomes a habit, your body stops learning how to be yourself when you're on stage. Like I'll
Right.
give you an example over here, Vivek. I want to hear this from you. So I'm going to give a small speech. Tell me what it reminds you of. Okay.
Okay.
Today is a very auspicious day. We have all come together to fight the problem that is engulfing our lives today. And now I would like to make it very clear that we are going to get out of this united. What does this remind you of?
This reminds you of some leader talking to his followers, kind of.
Okay, the leaders talking to followers, and I've done this exercise 700 to 800 times. The responses will be one of these 3: politician, leader, teacher. Politician, leader, teacher. Now, what is very interesting is that since our childhood and whatever we experience and see, our mind subconsciously creates references. This
You're
was
right.
a leader reference. I didn't tell I'm going to be a leader. I just orated something. Now that is a leader reference in your mind. Now,
Right.
if I'm going to go on stage and use a leader reference, but tell you something that you need to know, your mind is confused. It's like, बात तो ये कह रहा है बट कैसे कह रहा है, like वो ना समझ में नहीं आ रहा. He's become a
Right.
whole different person, right? So similarly, there are our mind recognizes there are actually 5 elements that our mind recognizes, which I will not tell now. Those people not come to my workshop, but those 5 elements is what the brain recognizes. And if you focus on those 5 elements in your presentation, you can decide what is the reference you want to give. So if you want to do comedy, it has to be a friendly, casual reference. If you want to say something where you want them to be worried or take an action, then it has to be a parental mentor reference. If you want them to sleep, then it has to be a boring presenter reference. So it depends on what
Right.
you want, and you can use those 5 elements and tweak it to give the reference. You are
Right.
understanding what I'm saying, or people are understanding, because this is a discussion conversation reference. This is how we
Right.
talk with each other. We are not
Right.
unnatural. So mind
Right.
is tuned to it. So that is
Right.
how public speaking becomes better.
Okay. So I am interested in that course personally. So where can I find more information about
Uh,
this?
मैं इधर लिंक चिपकाता हूँ.
आप दे दीजिए. I'll put it as a banner up because a lot of people attending might be interested later also.
Or shall I just share it with you on WhatsApp?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll let them know. Right. It's not on hi.in. It's not there, right?
It is not there, but it is. One second. I think I will just put it up here.
Because I saw that the latest batch was closed and you are going to open up some seats very soon. That message
Yeah,
I saw.
I am doing it with 5 people right now,
Okay.
but 3 of them are already finishing, so I can start taking new people. Because
Right.
it depends. I think for public speaking, what people are doing is, they are finishing their 5 sessions very quickly. Innovation one was Abhishek is saying, give me a link. So what I'm going to do, Abhishek, is I am going to share it here right away. I'm just transferring it from my phone to the laptop through an email,
Right.
and we can do that. But
That's-
तो चलो बढ़िया है, यहाँ तो थोड़ा सा बिजनेस भी हो गया मेरा. अच्छा है. This is what it is. No, I have no filter. So basically, if you talk your mind, connect to you better.
Right, right. Okay, so my next question for you will be, you have received so many accolades. You have been under 30 innovators of MIT and things like that, right? So
Yes.
among all these, tell me one of them which is very close to your heart. Just to understand how these things motivate us as human beings, basically.
I'm not able to put the post on the public. I put it in a private chat. If you can share it on the live
Yeah.
comment,
Sure,
I
sure.
can. But to answer your question, the MIT 35 under 35 was actually my first global recognition. And I am very, that was one of the most prestigious recognitions I've had. Because I know that truly is not a recognition that can be bought in any way. It is truly not a recognition that they give away very easily also. Because I remember I got this in 2016, but from 2013, people every year write to me, sir, we have recommended you for MIT 35 under 35. Sir, we have recommended you. Then someone from MIT 35 under 35 would get in touch with me. Someone would interview me for hours and share. And then eventually they would not give the recognition. So I know that the due diligence and the process that they go through is very impact driven. It's not that you created an idea and you developed a product and you will get it. Unless you have not made a difference to millions of lives, you do not get that recognition. So in 2016 also somebody recommended, I'm like, yeah, inka har baar chalo, I'll talk to some new Firang this time. Improve my American accent, I'll say, from the Bay Area. But this time then I saw in the newspaper, oh, it's been announced. I was like, okay, great. So chalo, so at least people who are constantly nominating me will get a break going forward. 4-5 people, sir, recommend kiya, aapko nominate kiya, because you can't nominate yourself apparently for
Right.
that. I a very fair, very well researched one, and that's the reason why I find that one of the most prestigious and I would say
Very nice.
value. Yeah.
Right, right. So let me. I had an order of questions, but I am jumbling it around. So my next question will be again coming back to your multiple hats thing. How do you find the energy to do so many things? I have seen you on stage, you know, doing your entire set without any. Then you have your high triple I H running, a family to take care of, and so many things, right? So many things. So how do you find energy for all this?
So see, the things that drain out energy are things that you don't like doing. That's normally the bureaucratic things, the mundane things. What I have figured out is I personally only do the interesting part. I do the part that uses my skill set. I use the part that uses my value, and that I never get bored of doing. I can do the same set or comedy because there's a live audience, they laugh, I feel good. Or if I'm doing surgery, I'm doing something, I'm seeing patients. But every mundane thing is outsourced to, and it's outsourced with a commercial engagement. I have formal teams for everything that I do. I have an events company. They call, follow up, book flights, book cabs, stay, everything. I am just told ki boss, you go this day, this place, this is the calendar, stage pe jaane ka hai, bolne ka aane ka hai. So I don't have a headache about the other thing. Because that would drain me out, right? Now, even
Right,
in my
right.
clinical domain, someone's taking the appointment, someone is lining up the patient, but I sit in my OPD chamber, patient comes in, my job is starting. Then again, the whole rest of the patients taken care till they are in the operation room. Then I meet the patient in the operation room, my job started. Then follow up, then on the phone. So I make sure that whether it is innovations, I have startups. So there are two co-founders already, and there may be 2-3 employees who are doing all the work. I come in with my clinical expertise. I just do my part, have 1 or 2 review meetings, and I go back. And that doesn't tire you out. That in fact gets you more energized because now you see progress, you see outcome, you see laughter, you see improvement in health, you see products. Those are the things that you get addicted to. Then you keep doing it. And similarly, you
Right.
need a good team in the family as well because my wife and parents, they're supportive. So we figured out a way. The mandwali karna padta hai ki, I'll cover this part, cover this part, and then you have to figure out that. So I am on a rota of how much time I have to take care of the kids, when I have to do this, when I have to do that, and you need to figure it out. And when you have a flexible calendar, you can block it. And there are many times where my calendar is set family time, vacation time, and I've got a very good show that is extremely high paying. But it takes whatever goes in the calendar first, you have to follow that as first come first serve, whatever it is. The moment you start becoming greedy and start manipulating, the system falls apart. So my hierarchy priority is the calendar is first filled by my clinical team, and only when the calendar is filled with my clinical team, the events team and family team can add their calendar. And once they add the calendar, that's it. It is in stone until the family team or the events team cancels. Otherwise, I just get up in the morning. Aaj ka calendar kya hai? Bas. This is my 11th webinar today. This is my 11th webinar.
Whoa.
I have 2 stand-up comedy shows. I've done 3 workshops. I've done 3 webinars. And today, after this, I will have dinner and then sleep. So
My goodness, 11 events in a day. That's
yeah,
like an that's like an
today is a bit
event for.
today's a bit over, but otherwise 3-4, because now more people are taking my workshops, and I know, see, either I be selfish and make a classroom like workshop which is low effort on me but no outcome on the user, but I do the one-on-one because I really see the outcome in the user. I really see that I can take the time and pace. So I want to be for me, what's addicting is the value creation. I don't want to do factory work and create large masses and make money. I want value creation, because when I see anybody who's learned something from me being successful, that's a whole different thing. Now, one of my own mentees, a student, is about to get MIT 35 under 35. So that will be like, so you create leaders, you create people. That has its own different. They're also products. So that creation phase में चले गए तो वो अलग ही kick आता है उसका.
Right, right. That's what I think makes you different. थोड़ा crowd से हट के. Everybody is running after money these days. So fantastic to hear this actually. All right. So my next question, the unavoidable question is stand up.
Yeah.
You are a rock star in that setup.
Thank you.
I love these sets. So how did you get started with it? मतलब मेरा भी अंदर ही ख्वाहिश है कि I also become a stand-up comedian because I love cracking jokes. most of them are PJs and things like that. But how did you start with this? Is it from school, college?
So before I do that, again, marketing, I do a stand-up comedy workshop, 5 session, one-on-one. तो सेम प्राइस उसका लिंक भी मिल जाएगा but having said that, stand-up comedy for me was more of a compromise than a first choice. I have been a theater person, and since the age of 7 I've been doing theater till 2015. Every year I've done 3 plays a year, whether I was doing MBBS, whether I was doing my ENT, or whether I was doing anything. 3 plays a year, 1.5 hour production. I've written about 49 plays, monologues and all of that. So that has been a part of my life. That is my creative space, and my creative space is very important for my sanity. But but what started happening is, with my clinical practice, calendar filling up very quickly, and then the startups, and then I also was writing books. Now I moved into web series creation because I think it reaches out more and people find it. But the readers have come down. I think people are watchers now. So
Right.
they like experience. So web series we experimented, and now it's out. What that did is, I was not able to commit for rehearsals, and that is like a strict. It's a golden rule in theater that rehearsals have to be respected. And for whatever reason, and I have a clinical reason, so people get even more frustrated कि उसको कुछ कह भी नहीं सकते, because it's a clinical problem. But then, and it's genuine also. I mean, it's obviously Bangalore traffic, but there is also clinical cases, and then rehearsal times conflict a lot with your work time. Rehearsals are not late night, or rehearsals are sometimes early in the morning, in the evening. 10-20 people have to have a common time frame. It's a coordination nightmare for 3 months for a 1.5 hour play. It's like committing into an entire relationship. And 2015 onwards, it was just falling apart. I would not show up for rehearsals, or other people is very unfair. It's unfair for the team. Then I would show up on the show day, and then I would lose my cues and all of that. And then at the end of the day, people were very kind, and they softly banned me and directed working. They didn't say to nikal ja, but they were like, "Nee, Jagdish, already casting ho gaya hai." But cases dekh le, softly they were telling. And then I got banned from the circuit, and I realized that someday I have to take that decision. I was just trying to pull one thing, but other thing took precedence. And then I was directing a stand-up comedian in one of the plays. She's a female stand-up comedian, Sneha Suhas. And she told me, why don't you do comedy? Matlab, you are still on stage, tu still dialogue bol sakta hai, tere ko audience bhi milegi. But the biggest benefit of stand-up comedy is no team rehearsal. I'm not saying there is no rehearsal. You have to rehearse, but you can rehearse anywhere. I can sit in my room right now and rehearse. I sit in the toilet and rehearse. I am in the flight, I'm rehearsing. I can sit in the cab and rehearse. And I was like, that's a brilliant idea, because I have no other human being involved. The moment another human being involved in coordination, it's a nightmare. And, I thought, let me experiment it. So I just went with experimental mind. Experiment karte hain. एक stand-up comedy show करते हैं, तो theater वाला दिमाग लगाए. Theater वाला दिमाग में जब भी कुछ करना होता है, पहले theater book करते हैं, फिर show announce करते हैं, फिर script लिखते हैं. So कॉमेडी में बोला अब कॉमेडी करेगा. कॉमेडी अनाउंस 26 और 17 जनवरी 2017 फर्स्ट स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी, लाफ्टर इज बेस्ट मेडिसिन या कुछ कैसा बोला. और फिर 2-3 months के टाइम में आई हैड टू राइट, एंड देन आई हैव रिटन मोनोलॉग. सो राइटिंग लास्ट मिनट एग्जाम की तरह रात भर लिख के मैंने एक परफॉर्म किया. उसमें से 70% जोक्स चले, 30% बहुत बुरी तरह से गया. I never had any training in, because comedy writing is, I mean, I've done improv, I've done script, but it is not by rote. You have to go by the mood, and you have to change things and all of that. So I was like, यार ज़्यादा feedback चाहिए. Only 100 people were there. तो मैं 15 वीडियो लिया, YouTube पे डाल दिया. And for a professional stand-up comedian is like suicide कर रहा है. पहले तो 1 घंटे का शो किया, एक भी बार टेस्ट नहीं किया, फिर उसका 15 वीडियो YouTube पे डाला. हम लोग 3 साल से बिगड़ रहे हैं, हमने अपना 5 मिनट का रूटीन नहीं डाला. ये समझता है क्या अपने आप को? That is the way to introduce into the stand-up comedy circuit. And for me, I am entrepreneurial mind, theater mind. Feedback. And feedback उस समय क्या है, ज्यादा comedian नहीं डालते थे, तो 5-6 वीडियो चल गए. So corporate shows, and then it was only a market pull till now. I do 12 to 15 shows on average a month, which picked up over a period of 10 months, 12 months, 15 months. But it's constantly been word of mouth market pull, and some videos that have worked along the way. And that's how the journey happened.
Wow. So 12 to 15 shows in a month, huh? That's like almost like 15 days have gone, because you have to travel to the venue, whole day preparations and things like that. Do you
Now,
come to north side for shows?
या मेनी शोज. मैं दिल्ली में किया है, अक्षरा थिएटर में. मैं गुड़गांव में कैनवस लव क्लब में कर चुका हूँ 3-4 बार, बट नाउ इट्स क्लोज्ड. नोएडा में भी वो क्या मॉल ऑफ नोएडा में या कुछ वो था, वहां पर
Next
भी
time,
किया.
next time I'll keep an eye out. Whenever you're coming, I'll drop down.
अभी तो शोज बंद है ना बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड. आई डोंट नो व्हेन द लाइव शो सीन विल स्टार्ट.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Right. So my final thing will be before I took a lot of time of yours. It's almost 1 hour. But it was a pleasure talking to you, and it was very nice. I'm pretty sure I'm happy to see all these links which you're sharing, especially share that stand-up comedy thing. I want to check that out as well. It's like a passion project of mine. Kabhi budhape mein karunga types, when I turn 40 or something. So that was one. So if you can, there's no pressure at all. If you can, maybe a small set for the people who are listening here.
So can you tell me briefly what would be the background of these people? Would they be engineers or would they be students? Like
Yes, mostly engineers, youngsters, and some firans.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll do a very small routine. I'm testing it.
Yep.
See, as a doctor, I am very jealous of the engineers, the IT guys, because their terminologies are so simple. Very very simple. Like दिमाग ही नहीं लगाते. Like sir, we have a lot of data. Is it big? Call it big data. Wow. Bigger data, big data. Oh, wow. Sir, there's so much data we'll put inside this, and some internet will be there, and this thing will work. Yeah, Internet of Things. Oh. Internet of Things, yeah. Sir, ये internet thing डाल के ना सर ये machine भी सीख रहा है और machine is learning, yeah, machine learning, like that. Sir, all this is happening, is this real? No, artificial intelligence, so that's all. हमको अगर खड़ा भी होना होता है हम बोलते हैं we are retroflexing our gluteus maximus and walking, उतना हमको करना पड़ता है. इसमें देखो पूरा सब चीज like एकदम direct है. So,
interconnected hai.
That's a new routine I'm working on, so share that.
That's fantastic. All right, thank you, Dr. Jagdish.
Right.
It was my pleasure to have you, and I hope to see more of stuff coming out from your problem-solving brain. And looking forward to, sorry?
Just before this session, I had a gap of 40 minutes, and you've seen my Corona videos where I become Corona?
Yes, I've seen that.
I just now released a video where I become Tiddy, locust. मैं 2 ponytail डाल के locust बनाया, talking about the locust problem on storm. तो वो अगर हो सकता है देख लो आप लोगों को, मैं निकाला.
I loved it the way you put your hair in the front and talk like that different guy. That was funny. All right, great. Thank you so much, Jagdish, Doctor, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vivek. Thanks for having me. I had fun. Take it.
All right, so that was Dr. Jagdish Chaturvedi. I'm pretty sure everybody will love this later when you watch the video. Tomorrow it will be released on the Thrifty Marketer YouTube channel. I loved talking to him. He's such a fantastic, fantastic person and fantastic talent. And I look forward to bringing more guests on the SMB Talk soon. I have some guests lined up. Let's see who is up next. And I wish you all a happy weekend and stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye.